I'm excited for today. My sister-in-law brought some sourdough bread over to my mom's house last night, and so I thought I needed to start a sourdough starter. So I don't have anything to start with. I don't have a starter. I'm just going to make my own, which is totally possible, but you just have to know it's going to take a few days. So I have done, I have made sourdough before, but it's been probably about 2 years before since I've done that. And I was making it pretty frequently, so I was really used to it, but since it's been 2 years, I don't even remember what I did, but it was really delicious, and so I wanted to start making it again. Last time when I made a starter, I did the Joshua Wiseman instructions, and those were so complicated. Like 56 grams of this, 12 grams of this, 18 grams of this, like every day it changed. And so this, I am just following the For the Love of Sourdough by the Food Nanny and Turner Farm. She's on Instagram. But Turner Farm is really, really good at making sourdough. This is like what her whole Instagram is about, basically. And so I'm just going to follow their instructions because I just want something simple. So all they say to do is combine 1/4 of a cup of flour and 1/4 of a cup of water in a pint-sized jar, and then stir it up. And then in 12 hours we'll be back, and we'll start feeding it like regular. Now today is 4 degrees outside, which means our house is a little bit chillier than normal. And so I'm going to put it by this candle because I want it to be in a warm-ish environment, which the rest of my house is not warm right now. And so I'm going to just have it by this candle for the foreseeable future. Okay, so all I need to do is add 1/4 of a cup of flour and 1/4 of a cup of water.
Mom, I want to help.
You want to help? Okay, hop down. And I'm just doing it in this little mason jar. I don't know what they're really called, but like clamp lid thing. I know there are special jars for sourdough, but you don't really need a special jar. Okay, can you put this in there? I have a little lady who wants to help. Okay, thank you. And then we just mix this up, and then we wait. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like. It is just very pasty. It's not runny at all. And so like I said, I know the Joshua Wiseman one works. And but it is too difficult for beginners to be following. So I just decided that I was going to do this from start to finish, and we will just see how it goes. So I'm just going to leave this right here by this candle so that it can be in a warmer environment, and then we'll be back in 12 hours. And by the end of this video, I will be eating some sourdough bread. Good morning, guys. I woke up and I saw this. And I couldn't not show you guys. It's working because it is way higher than it was before. Before it was just like a little paste, probably like this much before. So this is working. I'm so excited. So this is the morning of day 3, and I'm not gonna feed this until tonight. And so it's just gonna wait and wait and wait, but it's working. So that made me very happy. And if you can see all those little tiny bubbles in there. Anyways, I just woke up and I was happy, so I thought that I would show you guys. Okay guys, yesterday I was so happy that my starter was working so great, and now today it's like no bubbles whatsoever. Like literally not a bubble in there. I have no idea what's going on. There's a few bubbles on top, barely anything. Like, I'm so confused at why it just all of a sudden totally died on me. Because this did not happen last time, but this is real life, and so we're gonna figure it out together. And I figured if I just keep feeding this one, it will just have to like restart, I guess. So I'm continuing both of them to see how they do. I have a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of water in both of these. You're probably wondering why I have my sourdough starter in the microwave. I didn't put this wasn't turned on or anything. I just had the door open a little bit so that the light was on. And I put it on top of this cup in front of this light so that it could be at a more constant temperature than my kitchen, because my kitchen, it's sitting on granite, which is super cold. And I realized that it wasn't activating very fast or anything. It was taking extremely slow because the temperature just wasn't right. So I put it in here. I haven't fed it or anything for 2 days to try and anyways, you can't even really see what's going on in there. But I read a tip online to put it in the microwave and to just let it sit for a little bit. And we're going to try and feed this now that it has sat in a more constant environment for a while, to try and get those, not bacteria, but, well, maybe it is bacteria, I don't know. Whatever it is, the living things in there, the yeast, to accumulate. So we're going to go ahead and feed this now, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep it in the microwave for as long as I can. Well, if I need to use the microwave, I'll definitely take it out. But I'm just going to feed it and then put it back in the microwave, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I decided I'm just going to start it now, and we'll see where it ends up. If it ends up overnight that I have to do something random, we'll just figure it out, because yeah, I want to have it do well. But anyways, we're just gonna see. This is just gonna be a test run, and if it totally flops, then it totally flops. So we'll see where we end up. I'm gonna make the leaven for the traditional master sourdough in the Food Nannies and Turner Farms cookbook, and we're gonna see where it goes from there. This one takes a little bit longer than her just traditional one, so I'll start this one right now, and then I think I'll start her normal one tonight, so that overnight the leaven can be working. I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to make the leaven for the traditional master sourdough, and it says 130 grams of water and 130 grams of flour. Which, instead of using kamut flour for the leaven and stuff, I've just been using this natural white bread flour from called Wheat Montana. I didn't want to waste the kamut on all the leavens and stuff if it wasn't going to be working. So, and I did the float test just barely with my sourdough starter, which I don't even know how many days it's been now. But the moral of the story is, if your kitchen is cold, put it in the microwave with the door ajar so that the light is on. That's what I've learned. Okay, so we're at 130 grams of flour in this quart jar. Now we just need 130 grams of water. Oh my heavens, I just made a mess. $260, so we just need okay, we're there. And we need 25 grams of active starter, which is what I've got right here. Finally, after, I don't know, it's had to have been like 2 weeks or something. I just gotta stir this baby up. This will be more fun to see because this is such a little amount that you can't really see it rise or fall, or, I mean, you can a little bit, but with this amount I should be able to clearly see a rise. I need to like write down the times of this and stuff because I want to be able for future, like maybe if it goes like till 2 in the morning or something, get up and do something, I want to be able to backtrack and say, okay, well now since I don't want to be waking up at 2 in the morning, I have to like push it back 4 hours or something from when I originally started it. So that's my goal, is just to figure it out, get all the wrinkles out, and figure out what's the best time for me to do this. And yeah, we'll see how today and tomorrow goes, but I'm excited. So I think this leaven has gotten up to here, and then it has started to fall already. Floats. Okay, it says to knead this for 10 to 12 minutes, and it should not be sticky anymore. My arms will probably be tired. Okay, look how pretty that is compared to like the shaggy stuff that came out of there earlier. We're gonna put this back in here and let it ferment overnight, and then do the rest of it in the morning. And with sourdough, you don't want to put a towel on top because that's too much air. So you need to either put a plate or saran wrap on top. Okay, here we have the smallest microwave known to man, but this is how it works best in our house. This is the bread that we have. This is the starter that I need to keep alive, and this is the leaven that we need for tomorrow for the other recipe that I want to try. This was sitting overnight in the microwave, and then at 5 a.m. my husband put it in the fridge so that it would stop that process. And then when I woke up, I put it back in the microwave just while I was in the shower. So, just a second, just while I was in the shower, so about 30 minutes. And now we're supposed to laminate it. And it's kind of cold still. We'll see how this goes. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? It's perfect. It's making like little window panes in there, which is just what and just gently pulling it towards me. Gently pulling it towards me.
Then I did this. Today was O.
Oh.
Then I did this.
Okay, that looks pretty good to me. This is going to rest for about an hour. Guys, finally. This is like 2 weeks in the making, and I'm making my first loaf. Hallelujah. Okay, we're just gonna flip this over. We're gonna score it. You don't really have to, but it's just to make it look pretty. And then we'll put it in the oven. I have a Dutch oven in there. It's 500 degrees. We're gonna put it in the oven at 500 with the lid on, and then after a little bit, we're gonna take the lid off. everyone, this just came out and I am excited. We'll see. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be like toasted or something though.
That's good chew. Good texture. Crust is excellent. Fabulous.
So when I kept it in the microwave, it took about 3-ish days before it really started to like do something again. And so then when I started to see it, then that was good. Also, another thing that I had learned, I was doing it in pretty wide, shallow dishes, and so I couldn't see the rise and the fall very easy. And when I switched to these small mason jars, I could see the rise and the fall a lot easier. And so that made it a lot, it was more like confirming that I was doing the right thing, because I could see like the line around the glass, that it was actually doing something. So that I would suggest a small circumference and a tall, you know what I'm talking about, not short and fat, but tall and skinny container for you to put it in, so you can see the difference that it makes. Also, one thing that I liked about this is that they only suggest like feeding your starter 10 grams of your old starter. So like when you feed it, they put in 50 grams of water, 50 grams of flour, and then 10 grams of the old starter. So what I liked about that is that it kept the starter really, really small. And some other ones that I've seen, the starter just like keeps growing and growing and growing, and then you have a ton of the starter that you have no idea what to do with. And then you feel wasteful because you have used all this flour. Especially when I was using kamut, I didn't want to use a bunch of kamut because kamut is expensive. And so I like that this one is on a really small scale, but when you do make bread, you can't just use it straight from your starter thing. You have to make a leaven, which isn't hard at all. It's just basically making a bigger starter, but you do have to think ahead. So that's a little bit of a downfall, but it's actually nice because you don't have this huge massive thing. The only starter that I have in my fridge really is about this much. It's a half a cup basically, and it's very manageable. And so the Food Nannies was very simple, very easy to make, but and it was great for a beginner. It was great for a beginner, but and it turned out pretty good. There just wasn't as much technical stuff that you had to know, which was good. And if you're a beginner, then that's great, because like for me, I didn't remember all the technical stuff, and now that I've done it 2 to 3 times, it's starting to get back in a groove of how to do this and stuff. What I've learned is that it takes practice. Basically, you just have to do it a few times, fail a few times, and then you'll just get better and better and better. Thanks for coming along on my sourdough journey. It took me 16 days because I didn't realize that my kitchen was way too cold. It took me 16 days from the very start to get these loaves here. And so, yeah, if you are not patient, don't start sourdough, because it'll just make you frustrated. But if you want to learn and you're willing to be patient, then go ahead and start a sourdough thing, and you'll be glad that you did, because it's a very useful skill to have, and it tastes good. And if you have sourdough at home, it's way less expensive than if you get it at the store, because they're really expensive at the store. But thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!